Hey, what's up everybody? I appreciate you tuning into this video. Today we're going to show you how to use Humminbird Lakemaster mapping. If you like this video and want to see similar content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out the Humminbird playlist. Alright, today we're going to show you how to do a few different things when it comes to Lakemaster mapping. The first thing we're going to talk about is how to adjust your shallow water highlight. Then we're going to show you how to adjust your next highlight zone, which is a custom depth zone that you can determine, and then we're also going to use that to create a secondary highlight zone. I'm going to show you guys a little hack that will actually allow you to create two different highlighted depth zones outside of your shallow water highlight. The next thing we're going to show you how to do is show our contour lines. That goes without saying, but it is something that is important, and if you don't have it selected, you're not even going to see any of this stuff, and it's not going to do you any good at all. And last but not least, we're going to show you how to adjust your lake levels. So when your water is rising or you have low lake levels, you can adjust that. Alright guys, let's get right to it. Alright guys, here we are. We have got a nearby lake pulled up. This is El Dorado Lake. And just a reminder, I am running the Lakemaster PLUS chip, and this is the Great Plains region. Okay, so you can see that I do have the aerial imagery overlay here. You will not see that unless you have the PLUS chip. So make sure you guys are aware of that when you're making the purchase of your Lakemaster chip. I do highly recommend it for an extra 25 bucks. The PLUS is definitely the way to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our menu, which is going to be accessed by pressing the menu button twice. And you can see up at the top here, we can scroll over and go to Humminbird chart. Okay, we're going to start out with the shallow water highlight. And if you can see the map behind the menu screen here, the shallow water highlight is going to be colored in red. So you can see the red parts of the map are going to be 5 foot or less. So if we want to bring that up to 10 foot, you just see that adjustment being made in the background there. That will color everything in 10 foot or less in red. Okay, so there's our shallow water highlight. Our highlight number 1 has to be checked, so if you don't want to have that highlight, that's the one in green you just saw disappear there. Or if you want to bring that back on the screen, you can see that reappear. And that minimum highlight depth is going to be 12 foot. We can change that to whatever we'd like. We can, bring it clear to 6 feet, so, you don't have any, or clear to 5 feet, I guess. So then there is no distinction between your shallow water highlight and your highlight number 1 depth. And then your maximum depth, you can bring that, up to whatever you like. Let's say 5 to 14 feet. Okay? And then everything that is beyond that 14-foot depth range is going to be showing up in this color here. And there is some distinction in there, but that is not adjustable. So you see that the deeper stuff is darker, and then the more shallow contours gradually gets lighter. And that on this is not adjustable. So you just have the shallow water highlight, and then you have highlight number 1. So what I like to do is I actually like to use highlight number 1, and I like to leave some space in between my shallow water highlight and my highlight number 1. And that will actually create some separation. As you can see there, between the red and the green, you have some separation. So that almost creates another highlight zone. So you can have, 0 to 5 is red. Anything between 5 and 10 is going to be kind of this lighter white color. And then your number 1 highlight's going to be green. And then anything beyond your highlight number 1 is going to gradually get darker. Okay? So let's show you what that looks like. Let's do 10 to 14 here. And then we're using depth color number 1. Let's bring it up to number 2, my favorite. And let's show you what the lake looks like. Okay, so you should be able to see that creek channel rolling all the way through the lake here. All the way through the lake. Everything 5 foot or less is going to be showing up here. And when you zoom in, you'll be able to see those 1 foot contour lines. So that's what that's going to look like. Everything up to 5 foot is red. Everything beyond 5 foot to 10 foot is white. And we used the difference between our shallow water highlight and our highlight number 1 to create this kind of a custom highlight zone, right? So I don't know if there's other people out there that are doing this. This was just something that I kind of came up with on my own. It's not the most genius thing in the world, but it's definitely something that can help you be more productive on the water. And then you can see when these contour lines are really close together and you have some really steep drop-offs, you'll see those contour lines just really close together. And you can see those as you zoom out. They'll kind of show up as these dark black because those lines are so close together. The black just runs together. So this is how I would like, to normally set up my shading. Especially when I'm fishing a new lake and I have kind of a target depth in mind, I'll use these settings here. Now the other adjustment that is going to be something that you want to know how to do is the water level offset. So right now this is set up as if the lake levels were normal, but if your water is high or if you have low lake levels, then you can make an adjustment here. So if you get out on the middle of the lake, you're sitting on a 12-foot contour and it's 5 or 6 feet high or 5 or 6 feet low, you can go over here, raise it, and you're making these adjustments. And what we did is we just raised the lake level by 5 feet. All of our shallow water highlight is completely gone because we don't have any water in 5 foot or less, right? See that? Everything we have has been adjusted by 5 feet. So anything in that 5 foot or less depth zone is actually going to be up on what in this picture would actually be the bank. All that would be flooded timber, right? If that were the case. And you can do the same thing if it were low. You can go to minus 5 feet. So that is something that you want to be able to do for those varying lake levels. Now this contour lines, this is important because if you don't have that selected, you're actually not going to see any contour lines. You can zoom in as far as you like. It still knows what depths we're looking at here, so it'd be good, it'd be just as useful, looking at it from a distance, but zooming in up close, you're not going to see those 1 foot contour lines. So that's pretty much always going to be checked. I don't ever not have that checked. So the cool thing about doing this custom shading is that it will make these underwater islands, and it'll make creek channels, and it'll make all this sort of underwater structure really stick out. See that there? That's a big underwater island where it's out, 20, 30 feet of water, and then you have this point that comes out through the middle of the lake, and then you have an island that kind of sticks out off of that. So the other cool thing about the Lakemaster mapping is it does have some features like this where it'll show you, where the old dams were. These are a bunch of old house foundations, so that's pretty cool to see as well. You can look for some hard structure in these areas. Having the Plus chip is like having, Google Earth overlaid on top of your map, which is pretty dang handy. It's not always going to be something that you rely on, but when you can use it, it's a nice tool to have for sure. Definitely worth the $25 upgrade. In order to do the map shading that we're getting ready to show you guys how to do, you must have a Lakemaster map chip. This is not possible with Navionics. That is not a feature of Navionics. In order to do the shading, you have to have a Lakemaster map chip, and in order to have the aerial imagery overlay on your map, you must have a Lakemaster PLUS chip. So those are some important things to keep in mind. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got value out of this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop me a comment. I'd greatly appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Today we showed you how to use the Lakemaster mapping. We showed you how to use the shallow water highlight feature. We showed you how to adjust your highlight number 1 zone, and we showed you how to use that to actually create a secondary zone. We also showed you how to add and remove your contour lines, as well as adjust your lake levels. If you don't already have a Lakemaster map chip for your Humminbird unit, you're missing out. You really need to go get yourself one. And if you need to get one, head on over to russellmarineproducts.com. We've got them over there for you guys. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and make sure you check out the Humminbird playlist for more videos just like this one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next one.